Let's play. I love being able to start off this conversation with this element of play in mind. Um, there's an energy that's running through me in this moment, and this energy is because of knowing that I get the chance to really have a deep experience with three amazing individuals, three very powerful leaders who and who are coming together in a space to really continue their journey. Where I wanted to be here is this: we are in a conversation. Let me put it this way: my focus right now, uh, my purpose in life, my soul's purpose, the reason my soul's on this earth at this time, is to champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity. 7 months ago, that was a very difficult thing for me to say. I was like, who is this guy and how does he, like, how do I even do that? Now I say it and it's like my body just like resonates with the power of what it is. And I need to say that because I need to orient myself for this conversation to bring myself back into what is our higher purpose here. I see each and every one of you on in this conversation as a leader who is shaping the next era of humanity. We might go and talk about, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I know that in spending time with you here and in making sure that we set that intention some way, shape, or form, the the way that humanity will look like in the future will be affected by this conversation. And I'm very happy to bring that into the context of how we choose to play here today. This month is a really interesting month for me. I like to play around with different themes each month. Sometimes I'll go out and make a big deal about it, and other times I'll keep it a little bit more quiet. We're at the time of this conversation, it's September, and the month of September, the theme for me is Stand September. Stand September, and uh, it came from this element of looking at one question. The question was, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? And then it got me thinking about that word stand because it actually shows up in a number of different powerful words that that through line really became interesting to me and became in a place where I'm like, I would really love to explore all the variations, and not all, like as many of the variations as I can of the word stand during this month of September. Now, in that there, I love to the way I choose to play with things is to not just look at it from an intellectual perspective, but to actually step into it and be in the practice of it. So throughout this conversation, I'm a stand for us being in practice with one another. Uh, I just got done a conversation with my Trailblazer Collective, which is my paid mastermind of globally minded, socially conscious, and impact driven leaders. And throughout the conversation, we got a chance to play in a lot of different ways with the word stand. And I think I want to bring that into this space here because like this is what I do in a sense. This is we all get to play. So we're gonna have like a mini collective experience in this moment. We'll coach, we'll talk, we'll converse, and we'll change our lives and we'll shape the world. Yeah, I think that's check, check, check. Yep, sounds like a good conversation. So let's do this here. I would love for the three of you to get to know each other better, and so I'm gonna actually create a breakout room where you'll get about 4 minutes in the breakout room for you all to just be in the space with each other, for you to say hello, and for you to also explore, to introduce yourselves and get to know each other through one question. Uh, the question is, what do you stand for? What do you stand for? I'm going to invite you to go into the breakout room. When you're in the breakout room, the recording will not continue and follow you in there. But when you come back out here, we will continue the conversation and go from there. All right. So take that time. That's the question at hand. How you choose to use that time is up to you. We have 4 minutes on the clock, and you will get a 1 minute notice. You do not need to come in right away. From there, you can let the timer run down. Okay. So with that being said, let us put you into the rooms here. And I'm just checking my options. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we're good to go. See ya and enjoy. What do you stand for? Hey there. While they're in their breakout room, I decided I wanted to come and converse with you. What do you stand for? What do you stand for? And then, like, I'm gonna actually ask you a series of questions. Really, not really to open up space for you to consider. So, what do you stand for? And then the second question I have for you is based on your behaviors and your actions, what do you truly stand for? Based on your behaviors and actions, what do you truly stand for? My question comes to mind for me because uh, I know that as trailblazers, as people who aren't fighting against the status quo, but who have seen things in unconventional, untraditional, and just novel ways of seeing the world and seeing different experiences, that there's an element here that makes it often difficult for our behaviors to actually line up as much with our ideals. And part of the spaces that I choose to create involve us doing the difficult work and paying the cost in order to show up in the space where we can stand in our ideals. What do you stand for? And based on your actions and behavior, what do you truly stand for? It's the space in between what it is that you feel you stand for and the way that you're showing up in the world. That space in between is the element is to me, I feel like that's the place where like your power, more of your power resides. Your ability to be in confrontation with yourself in all the areas where you might see your behaviors and actions being out of alignment with what you truly stand for. That in and of itself, every time you bring something more into alignment with it, you gain that much more power, and you also stand more fully in yourself. Everyone's about to come in soon, but I wanted to leave you just this little uh, extra bit. And if you're really interested in exploring this even further, come join us in the collective. You can go to niiamah.com. That's niiamah.com/collective to find out more about like what we do as a tribe, how we continue to move forward, how we continue to move on our edges, and how we get a chance to actually practice being with what we stand for on a regular basis. This is the game that we choose to play. All right, cool. Now I'll come in about 3 seconds here. So let's jump back into the conversation from there. Welcome back. Hey, hope you had some lovely times with one another in there. Um, yeah, I chose to invite you to go to a breakout room. I know we could have had this conversation out here and just kept it out there, but I found that there's a different quality of connection that takes place in the breakout room that than out here, and it's just something that I didn't that it felt we don't have that much time together, and it felt just far more beneficial to make sure that you all know each other and you all like can like land a bit more with one another, land and dance more with each other, so that we can come out here and play the game that really needs to be played, to say the things that really need to be said, and to go to the places that really need to be go to. Nope, that really need going to. So let's come in. Let's come in here. I would actually like to just this is just part of how I like to do breakouts here. Um, I like to hear from everyone. I like to give each of you a chance to speak yourselves into this room here, um, without um, without revealing anything about what anyone else said in that breakout room, right? For yourself here, what is one word that describes what you stand for? What is one word that describes what you stand for? We're going to go with Brooke, Kobani, and then Inga. You can just unmute yourself. We'll say it each, and then we'll continue on with this experience.
Community.
Thank you.
Expression.
Can you say it again?
Expression.
Thank you.
Wild.
Indeed. Thank you. Fantastic, y'all. So let's go ahead and play. Let me see. I can feel myself trying to move forward and like, have I entered the room with you all here? Okay. For what I stand for, the word is practice. So what I love to do here is really give us a chance to explore more about what we stand for. Like explore more of the various elements of standing with one another. And I'm gonna ask you all two or three questions to start out with, and then we'll do each question in succession, and then we'll come back together and we'll do some coaching as we need to around it or as it plays itself out. Okay, cool. So let's explore this here. The first question here is, what is the crossroads you find yourself standing at? What is the crossroads you find yourself standing at? Take some time, write it down, do what you need to with it. And when you have it, you can go ahead and look up at me. If you're following at home, grab a piece of paper, start answering some of these questions. What is the crossroads you find yourself standing at? Is your crossroads only two roads? Are there more? The next question. In what ways are you being a bystander to your own mission and purpose? In what ways are you being a bystander to your own mission and purpose?
What does bystander mean?
Great question. I was like, I really hope no one answered. I'm like, that's no. Let me stay with it. Um, Actually, I love this here. We're in the space of the power of more people than me. Does anyone have a definition that they're working with? This is not the Merriam-Webster definition, but would anyone like to suggest a definition that they're working with?
I was thinking of standing on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. So watching the game being played instead of playing the game is how I heard it, Niiamah and Inga.
Wonderful. I ask my questions with a lot of openness and space so they can be interpreted however. If that's helpful, you can take that. If I take it to another place, use that as well. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Inga, for playing and not being a bystander in this moment and pretending something here and saying what needed to be said. All right. In what ways are you being a bystander to your own mission and purpose? Okay. Next question here. What outstanding thing about you have you been keeping hidden so that you don't stand out? What outstanding thing about you have you been keeping hidden so that you don't stand out? I had fun with that question. This one is more intense than it might seem. So really take a look at it. What outstanding thing have you been keeping hidden so that you don't stand out? There's even intentionality behind that. If I didn't keep this hidden, then I would stand out. And then I'm going to ask one more here for just because I want to. Um, this one here is all about understanding. Understanding. What's the story that you don't share that would really help people understand the real you? What's the story that you don't share that would really help people understand the real you? You don't need to go. I'm gonna at this point. I'm gonna bring us back in here. There may be time that I invite you to actually continue to expand what that story is, or perhaps there are multiple stories that came to you. For now, if you're even just able to capture some of the key words around it, there, I think it would really be in the place of serving. Oh, I was about to move on, and then I saw a word that just like it hit me, and I was like, I think I need to bring this in service of you all. So one more question. All right. Here's the last question here in the spirit of standing, of stand. Um, when you look at yourself at your next level, you look at yourself truly standing for what you for truly being in what you stand for. What standards do you need to leave behind, update, or create? So, put another way, to be in integrity with what you stand for, what standards do you need to leave behind or create or update? I think it was the third one. Leave behind, update, or create. Now I'm going to have to stop looking at my list of stands. Otherwise, I'll be tempted. I'll give you another 10 seconds on that. Just Just write down what comes in right now. Get yourself started. We're gonna have an intensive, a 3 day intensive in early November, and I'm gonna like. So when we do that, I'll be able to really give a lot of space for some of these here. Um, and if I indulged myself with that last question, but I also felt it was worth bringing into this space of either now or in the future. Yeah. So let's do this here. Let's come together, and what I want to do is give us a chance to distill this. This is we're in a space of both conversation and still coaching, right? I'm choosing to do the coaching in a different way. I'm choosing to do it in this format for now. Um, and so I get really curious about some of the insights that you've had so far, any takeaways that you've had up until this point, or a question that plays out for you. So what we can do here is I think it'd be good for us to go and have every one of us share something about this experience for ourselves, um, not just in the debrief format, but in like in the powerful impact that it either had or didn't have, and we can take that and from there we'll see where the next place that we should go as a group would be. So I'm going to start with Inga, then we're going to go to Kobani, and then we're going to go to Brooke.
Hmm. So, looking at the answers I gave, I realized that through our previous discussions, I thought about these questions in some shape or form. What stands out for me now is this question about what outstanding thing about you have you been keeping hidden so that you don't stand out. And I had two answers to it. One is fearlessness. Sometimes I just don't give a shit about things, people. That's one part. And another one is I'm thinking maybe I'm a bit of a maverick. So I do love people, but I just love some, which have this wild thing. And I think the way others experience me is like a very pleasant person who would always be nice to others. So most people don't know that I'm actually not such a nice person. And I think it would be good to bring out some more of this not so niceness into the world as well. Does that make sense?
Oh, you asked the magic question. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me, that's all that matters right now. Like there are things that I got out of what you said because of our conversations in the past. There are things that Kobani and Brooke might have gotten because of their own personal experience, or maybe their experience of you here. There may be things about it that didn't make sense, and they're like, "But I'm so curious because I want to." Right? What I want to give us is part of the practice of being in that like a little bit of the discomfort of
Mm-hmm.
speaking our truth, even if someone else may not get it in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Inga, for really like being and expressing and playing with us here. We'll see where we take it from here. Company.
Hi. Um, so one thing that stood out for me um, i- in the last question that you asked is letting myself be seen. And next level, I really need to let myself be seen. And I think the thing that holds me back is I have a fear of um, people not liking me or disagreeing with what I have to say.
Thank you, Kobani. Thank you. Kobani, are you open to an invitation?
I am.
Okay. My invitation to you is before the end of this call, if you could please give us the gift of not liking you because you have shared something that that is really true to you, not just for the sake of it, but a thing that is actually you being seen. And I say that, and I don't mean that facetiously. I don't mean that facetiously. I think the last post at the time of this recording that I at this conversation that I had on Facebook, it says something to the order of, uh, like the best conversations are the ones where I was proven wrong. And that happened from a conversation I had with someone else there. And it was just this element of being in a place where I can be confronted with myself, where I can see something else, where something about the way that someone shows up gives me even more insight into me. So I don't mean that lightly. I'm not just trying to pull a reframe all over it. No. I'm saying like I legitimately am hopeful that before the end of this conversation, you can help us see you in a way that like brings that out. I mean, because I know the gift that that would be.
Mm.
And in the space of practice, I want to let you know the space has already been created. I want to remind you that that space I want to invite you into that space and let you know that that space is here for you, should you choose to play it.
Mm. Thank you.
You know.
One thing I wanted to add, just a logistical point before we move to Brooke, is I'm not sure if Brooke and Inglis are seeing the same, but your video is paused for me.
Yes. Yes, thank you. I have been having video pausing issues, and I'm grateful that you brought it up. I don't know where if I might find my phone, and if I can find my phone, um, I'll jump in up with that there.
It's
Um,
kind of awesome. And you're paused in not an unflattering way. You know, sometimes we get paused and it's weird, but you look great, Niiamah. So
why, thank you. No, I have had that happen a few times, so I'm going to. Um, yeah, sometimes people are like, it looks like you're really thinking deeply about this next question here. I'm like, I am. I just don't always show it. um, but as it stands here, thank you for letting me know. It's an awkward thing that's happening right now with my videos. I'm going to continue not pushing, but being with it. You'll also see me jump in. You'll also see me join from my phone. And the idea here is that at least you can have some video that comes along with it. Awesome. Anything else, Kobani?
Just one point is something that might help is turning your video on and off. That seems to help me, but it might not in this situation.
I am totally good with at least trying to reset and then seeing from there. And if it doesn't help, we're good too.
Mm.
All right. I've come and joined you. All right. So, all that being said, let's play here. So, I'm back here. Um, anything else? All right. Awesome. Now you're getting two of me, right? So, let me do one of these.
oh yeah, that's
All
what
right.
I was gonna ask for.
Yep. And this it's so fun playing this game here because in the way that we choose to play here, it's like everything has meaning. So thank you for even thank you for speaking, thank you for sounding, and thank you for going for what it is that you asked for. Anything else, Kobani? Okay, game on. Hey, Brooke.
Hey, I was such a fuck yes to everything that was already shared. So I just want to like be in gratitude for these awesome questions that you asked, and B, like what I already got from Inga and Kobani. Thank you. So I want to express my gratitude. The question that had the most energy for me was around the outstanding thing as well. And that was related to the story. And the outstanding thing that I want to be more willing to bring to the table and express is my intellect. And I want to share my opinions and my insights and my unique perspectives more freely about things that matter. And that would require me buying into and believing that I'm intelligent. And that's the edge. You know, you use the word edge before, Niiamah. That's like an edge for me. That it's just like fucking get out of here. Like it's done. Like the old story's got to go. It's got to change. And so I feel nervous saying that, and I feel nervous recognizing it, but I feel also really excited about recognizing it right now.
Thank you, Brooke. Thank you. I'm looking at each of you here and just really taking in how each of you are showing up right here. We have about 15 minutes here, and like it's interesting because yeah, actually I'm not going to disclaim. We have 15 minutes here, and what I'm feeling is that we have some space here to really take some of this even further. We can do this. Like what I'd love to do is create some space for some coaching to take place amongst us all, and it could be about anything that we've talked about so far, an insight that came up, a place that you want to go in and explore even further, or it could be something that has been on your mind, something that's been actually, I don't want to just stick with the mind; it's just not powerful enough. Something that's on your heart and your gut intuition that you would like to bring out here. I first met Inga in a space where we only got 3 minutes to be with one another, and so I know how much can get, not even how much can change, how much can shift in a short period of time. So I'd love to open up some space here. Uh, what I plan on going to right up until the top of the hour. If we get to the top of the hour and I feel like we need some more, I will ask. We will close, but I will ask, and like if that's what it feels like it's needed. Um, we might talk to everyone, or we might just spend time with one person. So that being said, who would love to be served powerfully right now? You there, Kobani? Firstly, I have to, if I'm going to play this game out, I have to be honest and true. I was like, what if no one wants to be served powerfully right now? I'm like, what would I do? I'm like, well, I know what I would do. And I'll tell you about that later on. But I want to make sure that especially with you, Kobani, who's saying that you're out here to be seen, I want to make sure that I'm allowing myself to be seen as well, and really being in that space with you. So, hey there, Kobani, how can I serve you? Actually, I'm going to even rephrase that. How can we serve you? It may be me talking right now, but like with us being here, how can we serve you?
Hmm. So I'd love to I'd love to move away from this space where I sometimes get really anxious about how I'm perceived. And be able to build my resilience in not being liked. Because it can actually feel like it feels like it's some life-threatening danger. That's what it feels like. And it's draining.
Firstly, Komini, I really feel you. And I feel you. I feel you, and I feel seen by that statement. The statement of it's a life. It feels like a life threatening element, because I think sometimes when I think about pop authenticity, when they're like, be you, go out there and be like, do you like the it oftentimes the cost that is actually required to show up that way is not actually given space. It isn't acknowledged. And so, like, as someone who like has been going through my own journey of from repression, like from being repressed in order to be successful and fit in one caricature of myself, to being liberated, to just being free and being me and still choosing success. I feel you deeply when you say, when you talk about a life threatening element. And I feel seen, and I see you as well with that. So I wanted to start off first by just acknowledging you and acknowledging that. It's, to me, when you say that, it gives me a clue that you're not in the pop authenticity element. You're not just looking for authenticity or to be you or to be seen for the sake of it. It's like you're real, like you're up against the real challenges, the real elements of what it really calls for to be seen in the world, to be seen as you. And so I wanted to start off first and foremost by acknowledging you for that. Tell me a little bit about the danger that you feel.
A sense that I'm not safe, and I lose the connection I have with myself, and I have to rebuild it, not rebuild it, access it. I lose access to it, and then I'm thinking, oh, did I say something wrong? Did I not think about this perspective? And then I'm extra hard on myself, saying I should have felt into that more. When another thing that I've realized about myself is it, because I feel things so deeply, it takes me a while to really process something. But it just turns into it always turns into, oh, I'm not safe. And I'm not safe is also means I've lost connection with myself in those moments. I'm questioning myself.
You know, I find myself curious as you're talking, Kubini, about a few things. First one is you had said something earlier. You used the word resilience, and for me in particular, that's a word that like that I don't like. And so congratulations. I know, but honestly, and being real about it, like I like the word resilience gets to me because I feel like I'm like it isn't far enough. It suggests get knocked down, and then when you at the as a result of getting knocked down, you get back right back to where you were. And like in my mind, I'm like, why are we choosing that level of power? Like, why don't we choose something even more powerful? And you know, for me, more powerful is like steadfast. So it's like as things are coming for you, like you're still able to move forward. You're grounded where you are. Like things can come your way, but you don't have to be knocked down in the first place. I'm like, why aren't we not spending time helping people to be able to be so grounded in themselves or grounded with what they believe in and grounded in where they are that like things can come their way and it's not knocking them down in the first place. Or the anti-fragile element that was coined by the person who wrote Black Swan, where it's like, all right, if you get knocked down, you come back even more, you know. And so that like there's these elements that are playing out. I know that like this is. I was looking at steadfast. I was like, what's the stand in there? There wasn't. But like to me, it's like there's an element of like, what is it like actually taking a stand in there? And as you're speaking, I found myself curious around that. What if resilience wasn't the goal? Like on the scale of places to be, resilience it feels like it takes a lot of work, but it doesn't actually get you what it is that you're looking for.
Mm. Mm. When I said resilience, I almost thought, or I mean, I did think falling down is going to happen, inevitable. Something you said stood out to me, which was, well, things are coming at you, but what if you just still stood grounded and centered? And you didn't have to be fall down. You could just stand.
In this game that we are playing, we've chosen a difficult path right now. In the part of humanity that we're in, being yourself, being authentic is not something that like we're taught. It's not something that is like that tends to be rewarded in the short term. There's wild rewards afterwards, but like the path to go through that is it's not an easy one. And so like just even looking at the tool and open up the possibility that perhaps I don't need to fall down, like because I'm hearing some of that in this. There's an inevitability in it. There's an inevitability element of it all. And so there's some parts of it where it's like there isn't as much. We need to create more space for other possibilities to even be able to exist before we even continue down even further, right? So I would look at that like that element first of like to me it's what are the things that you know to be true about what it would require or what it would mean for you to show up and be fully seen. I would just take some time and just like write out all those things. Like, what are the things that you know to be true? And then just give yourself the chance now, once they're external to you, give yourself a chance to question it. Just ask yourself, in this case here, there'd be two questions you could ask. One of them is like, what if this wasn't true? A simple like flip around, which is simple and powerful. And what if that wasn't true? And if you ask that question, you have to answer it. What if that wasn't true? Well, if it wasn't true, then the next part of this is like imagination comes in. And I'm going to invite you to have radical imagination, to give yourself that chance to really go out and explore this. What if it wasn't true? But to give like, I think there's some elements in there to go in to go in and challenge even that initial, some of those even the assumptions that we're bringing into it. I think also with it, I'm just checking in really quickly on this because I hear you and I feel you. And what I'm checking is to make sure that I'm not giving a pop response myself as someone who's like, because I'm still going through this company. Like I'm still going through what does being seen as me look like. It's the reason we're having this conversation in this way, because it actually would have been quite easy for me to do a standard group coaching experience here. And I'm like, but like it feels more vulnerable for me to put on display that which I do inside of my paid membership. So, you know, for me to put on display me actually out here in facilitation, for example, and to be in this experience with you. I feel you on the life threatening elements and the parts that I want to at this point. I feel like there are, how do I say it? With this game, it's an experienced game. Like there's a reason why practice is the word that I use, right? Because we can't necessarily intellectualize it. Right? The things that are coming up that I get curious about are, again, like, yeah, are you willing to die? Are you willing to die in order to show up and be like and to actually live? There's a couple different things with that statement. Are you willing to die? Is it like in order to be seen and be yourself, in order to live as yourself? So that question comes from the standpoint is like, is the current company willing to die in order for whatever else needs to come out? Then there's the larger question of, are you willing to die for what it is that like you believe in, you stand for, that is you? And I don't ask that question lightly. I'm just taking note of time here, so I'm gonna shift this a bit. But I don't ask that question lightly. That's a question that I ask myself on a regular basis. I'm about to have a child here, and I'm like, is it still? I have come to the point where I know that there are things that I have had to get good with. Like I could be taken out. My life could come to an end as I know it, as a result of choosing to show up this powerfully, a result of choosing to speak my truth, to be seen in the way that I am. Like like every day I walk in the truth that death could come with me. In various, some days it's stronger, some days it feels stronger, some days it's weaker. But the question here becomes, if it wasn't something to avoid, but was something that you could be with, how might that change things for you? I choose to record every conversation because I don't know when something happens, and if the magic that is me dies with me when I die, that would make me sad. That would not be like, I get sadder about that than the actual death. Things might change when my child comes because there's more there, but even that, he's going to have access to this. The path of showing up as you and being seen is not one that is quite easy to go through. So I want to make sure we create we're playing with some other ways of looking at it, to say like, okay, if it is life threatening, how do we get good with it being life threatening, so that that doesn't have the power over us? There are other things to explore, but I want to pause here, given like in the sake of time here. I apologize. I've gone over a few minutes, and my invitation here is like, if you need to take off, please do. I'm going to wrap us up properly, but if you need to leave, go ahead. Like we're in good shape. So Kobini, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you here to take a look at like some of the things that are, some of the ways that things like right now have to be, some of the things that we know to be true, and give ourselves some space to play with some of those assumptions, to reflip it over, or to say, if I was going to pay this cost, how would that, like, if that was just a cost I needed to pay and I paid it, how would I move forward to? All right. There's more conversation to have on this here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out of the. I thank you, Copenhagen. I thank you for going there and really being out here. I don't know about, like, I mean, I said it. I could relate so hard in there around the realness of bringing out what's really you. So thank you for bringing that out here. How I'd like to wrap this up here is in the space of gifts. This is something I do intentionally. And the way that I'm going to end it here is to give each of you a chance to share with one person on this call one of the gifts that you got as a result of them of being in this space with them, right? The way that it can look like is just to help us with some framing. It could be the impact that you had on me today was, or the the gift of your the gift of your share here today was. Okay, and the intent here is for it to be personal, rather than just a recap of what took place. Um, let's do this. We'll go in this order that's on my computer right now. Um, does anyone want to go first? Let me just ask that question first and foremost. Okay, Brooke.
Kobani, today from you, I'm taking a gift around courage, because when I heard you speak about the real fear of being seen, and then I thought about how you showed up on this video with people you don't know that's going to be shared with other people you don't know, I thought, okay, she's doing it, even though she knows it's scary. So I'm leaving with a gift of courage related to that. And then a little bit stickier, I'm leaving with this like almost frustration, which is a gift, of how short life is, and how if I don't let myself be seen, what cost that is to the world. And so I'm feeling this inner tension, which is a gift. So thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. Who would like to go next?
Hello. I had an insight from something also that you said, Kobani, which was that the insecurity that you sometimes feel comes with not feeling connected to yourself. And this is a connection I hadn't made for myself, but I immediately knew it was true. So it's an amazing insight, and I can now see a tons of situations where this has been the case for me as well, but I couldn't see what was going on, but now I can. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Inga. And Kobani, is there something you'd like to share with anyone else?
Yes. So Brooke, you mentioned the word community, and I'm really grateful that you did, because it's not something I really allowed myself to think about. And yet I see some seeds, I feel some seeds being planted where I'm thinking, hey, how would I show up differently if it was about community?
Thank you, Kobani. So let's do this here. We're gonna close this conversation, and you three are invited to stay on if you'd like to. I've found that there's a gap in this Zoom world, of like when a meeting ends, you're just immediately transported back to wherever you are, and I'm creating more space for transitions. So I'm here for like another 10-15 minutes to just be in the space, and just be with you. Right. And it's something that I do, that I'm putting into practice. So you're welcome to stay, and afterwards, and whoever chooses to stay can be a part of the conversation or not. All right. But I'll leave this here with an invitation, with a gratitude to each of you, and an invitation to any of you that like seen the power of bringing together a group of powerful people who are on their journeys. Everyone here is showing up in their own right, in shaping the world in a magnificent way. They wouldn't be, I don't know, my space doesn't have anything other than that. And we are still going through inner journeys as well. And whatever our outer journey looks like, it's this inner journey that we really need to have some space for. And so if you want to be in a place where you can be surrounded by a peer group, a peer community, people who are stepping out on their edge, who are going through what I call a courage gym and working on the muscles of courage and being in the practice of showing up as the leader that they know they are and the person who stands for their ideals, their values, and their mission and purpose in life, then you really should be a part of the Trailblazer Collective. You can go over to niiamah.com/collective to find out more information about it. But like, we're out here, we're doing the reps, we're bringing together people, and we're stretching our muscles and stepping into who it is that we know that we truly are. We play life out on the edge. We have a place to be both safe and brave. Both safe and brave. So if that's something that appeals to you, you will be in good company. niiamahashong.com/collective. And we'll continue on from there. Have a great one, everyone. Oh, actually, I'm gonna really end it like this. You got this, and we got you. Journey on. Hey, Niiamah here. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and then go ahead and leave one of your insights from today's video in the comments below. If you're looking to take this deeper, you can go and watch another video, or you can go to niiamah.com/tribe to get exclusive invitation to our tribe member only events. I'll see you soon.